Hi guys, peekaboo. This is Allison Prior. I'm going to show you how to draw an eye today. And I've had people requesting that I teach them to draw. So there are many ways to draw an eye, and there's many ways to do things, but this is my way. And I'll just lay this down so that we can give that a try. So the first thing to make it easy for you is I'm going to get you to pick up your H pencil. Now today we're going to use a H pencil, and we're going to use a H pencil, and we're going to use a 2B pencil, 2B, and we're going to use a 4B. Now I can make a long explanation about all this, but I am not going to do that today. It's a very short, quick tutorial on how to draw an eye. So this is just a blending stump, and I'll go in and this is another smaller blending stump, and a kneaded eraser. Sure, kneaded eraser is like putty, and I'll go into more detail about all these supplies later. So what I want you, and maybe some tissue, just tissue that you get out of your tissue box, okay? Just a little bit of tissue. So what we'll do is we will make it easy for you. What I'll do is I will make a couple of dots. So let's say I'm going to make a fairly big eye so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to make a dot here. You can make a dot. And I'm just guessing. I'm just going to go over here and make another dot, okay? And then just straight across from each other. And then I'm going to make a line on top of those dots, but the line is going to be curved. All right, so curve the line, and then underneath that line you're going to curve another line like a smile. Let's make a little smile. There we go. And in the middle here, or outside even, you can probably on the outside, we make a nice little tear duct. So then all you have to do there, I'm using my H pencil, and because you want to use the lightest pencil in case you got to erase. That's the only reason why we use the lighter pencils, so in case you got to erase. So then the iris takes up a lot of the eye. Try to find some reference photos, and that way you'll be able to see how much of the white to take up, okay? And then so that'll be the pupil, and then we will make a center of an iris, and then make it look like Pac-Man. I know, I just thought it'd be easier to do it that way, but because you can make a square or a circle or whatever. That's for your highlight, okay? That's for your highlight. And then you can, hopefully you can see that okay. I don't want it to blur up on you. Okay, so now you're going to make the crease in the eye, okay? Crease. Everybody has a crease in their eye, so you can go ahead and make a crease. So just follow the shape of the eye that you just did. And just quickly, I'm just going to put a little bit of an eyebrow up here we don't want to do the eyebrow today. I'll do that some other time. I want to spend the time on the eye first. So now there we go. There you go. That's the beginning. And maybe we could put a little bit of a line down here for the bottom eyelashes. Okay, right here. Let's see how that works out. I hope this works out for you, because you never know what's going to happen when you're doing these videos. Okay, so now I'm going to take my darkest pencil for now, which is 4B is what I'm using right now. You can certainly use 8B or the darkest Bs. Bs are the dark, really dark pencils. And then the higher the number on the B is dark, the darkest. And the H pencil is the lightest, and it's got a harder lid, but I'll get into all that later. So anyway, so just fill in this part here with the dark, and then take your pencil and go back over that line again, because I did it the light way in case say you thought that wasn't round enough or whatever. You could erase that much easier, but now that you're putting the darks over it, now it might be a little harder to erase. So make sure you like what you see before you go ahead and put all the darks over it. And now you're going to put this line a darker line. Okay, so make that a darker line. All right. Now we'll darken that up. Now underneath the eye, the lid, underneath this lid here, this is the crease, okay? I'll call this the crease. because I don't want you to get mixed up. I've seen some videos where they call this the lid. I don't know who's right or who's wrong, but we'll say that this is the top lid here. And so we'll just take that and this is going to be the shadow. There's a shadow underneath that lid. We'll do that in a minute. So just take some lines and pull them in. Pull those lines in towards the iris. All right, so just pull in some lines. That's just to get some shape to the eye and to get some shadows there, because we're going to be using our blending stump so that we can shade that out. Okay, so that's all, just to get that there like that. Perfect. Good. And you can fill it in between if you want it a little darker. Probably going to want it a little bit darker anyway, right? So there we go. Good. So what you're going to do now is you are going to leave that open there. Make sure you don't go in there, okay? Don't go in there. Even if you have to make a little circle there, just so you won't go in there. Okay, now we're going to take that line right here and we're going to, don't push on your pencil too hard. Just thicken that line up, but don't press too hard. Just a little soft shading. There we go. Okay, so now what we're going to do, that's good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our blending stump. Okay, the blending stump will help you get some shading and help blend out the shade. So what I'm going to do is go back over that line here, and as you can see, I'm coming up into the other line that's there. All right, see the line? So I'm going to go on top of that. Now, as I'm going on top of that line up here, I'm pushing really hard. But as I go towards the whiter part, I'm lifting up my hand a bit, so I'm not, making really, really dark. And I'm going to move it up, right up here, right up. There we go. And whatever is left over on your blending stump will shade around up here. It'll come out nice and light. So we want this nice and dark here. Let's bring that up around the corner here. Good. And then we'll just shade out here. And just keep going with the shading up on the top here, just so that you'll run out of graphite on your blending stump. So that's a good thing, because you don't want it to be too much dark shading. You want it to be nice and smooth. Nice. Okay, so we get this shadow down here, nice and blended out. Good. And you can also take your blending stump and blend out this bottom line here. Good. And the other lines, just blend around, and keep, probably move this, because your blending stump will move all your graphite around, and it won't do too much harm, because it won't erase anything or anything like that. It'll just blend things around. And let's blend out this dark edge here and this dark edge here, and then come in towards that eye. Lift up on your hand a little bit so that you're not getting too dark. Okay, so lift up, lift. Now go into the circle here, and then come out to those lines, and you can push a little bit hard there, but then as you come towards the center here, just lift it, and then you get nice. There we go. Now we can do some more work with that in a minute. So down here in the corner, we don't want the white of the eyes to be too white, so we're going to add a little shadow in there. And we're going to add a little shading in here. Just shade it out. And if you put too much in, we can always take it out with the kneaded eraser. I'm going to show you how to do that now soon. So just blend out your lines. So let's go back to a 2B pencil. 2B is good. So 2B, we'll put in a few little lines up here in the eyebrow, just so you can see it. Don't worry about the eyebrow right now. I'm going to show you how to do eyebrows later, but I'm not going to worry about it. So I'm just going to throw in a few little lines just to get that done. So we'll get that out of the way, because I don't want that to be a distraction. Alright, so that's enough of that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our H pencil again. Every time you think you might need to erase, use your H pencil. So I'm just going to bring in a little bit of color in here. Not much, just a little bit. just go over that line again and back over this line a little bit here for our bottom eyelashes. Okay, good. Now, just keep going over your lines till you get them the way you want them. Now, like I said, there's lots of videos out there on how to draw an eye. So you look at several different ones and you know, pick the ones you like and then practice along with all of them, you know, a few of them, and pick out, and by the time you do a few of them, you'll have the knack of it then. And then you'll be able to do it your own way. So, let's do some eyelashes. Okay, so let's go back to that eye that I drew earlier. So let's say we want it a little bit like this, okay? So those nice eyelashes. So what I did there was I took my pencil, my 2B pencil is good because you can still erase pretty good with 2B. And I took it and I pulled out a line, a long line here. And don't go too far over the crease, just a little ways. And I did a short one, then long one, short one, and long one, and short one, and long one, short one, and long one, short one, and long. Oh, short one and long one, short, long, short, long. Okay, not too long. And a couple of little tiny ones in between. And you can crisscross them and make them look a bit natural. Okay. So just a few extra ones here in between. And you can darken those up and play with them, you know, until you get what you like. If you want some more extra ones, look at some pictures, like I said. Look at some pictures and decide how many eyelashes that person has. You can even do your own eye if you want to. And down here, you'll just do a few, pull out some of these small, large, you know, a couple of long ones and a couple, like I said, look at some reference. A couple of long, short, long. Okay, now as we get over here, it's going to get a little shorter. And there we go. So if you like what you see, now you can take your darker pencil, the 4B, and go back over those again, just to, because like I said, start off with a lighter pencil just in case you got to erase, okay? Because if you don't like what you see, then you can erase, get rid of it, and then you can go back over it. So we're going back over these again now. So that one there is a little straight, but you can fix that up. I'm just showing you on this video, you know, how you can start, get an eye. And let's put touch and pull out. Touch and pull out. Touch is like a little curve, isn't it? A little curve. Touch and pull down. Touch and pull down. Because the eyelashes curve, right? They curve up on top and they curve on the bottom. So I'm not going to put too many down there. So that's fine. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you. So take your blending stump and darken that line up again, and probably go into those eyelashes a little bit just to darken them up a little bit to give it a kind of shadowy look. Alright, looking good. And there, just shadow it up on the corners and here. And you can also make that darker or lighter, whatever way you want. Now I'm going to show you now how to use the kneaded eraser. The kneaded eraser, you can roll it between your fingers and make it pointy. And then if you don't like this too dark in here, just take some out by tapping at it. Tap, and then you can take out a little bit more highlight here with your kneaded eraser. You have to touch it, that's all you have to do. See that pretty? And now the only other thing I could show you to do with this one for now is to take your tissue paper, and just rub over what you just did here, okay? Just rub over that with your tissue and that will soften it up for you, okay? You might want to soften up a little bit here and there, and you can bring down some what's left over on your tissue. We're going to make the line come up in a shape like this, like an upside down smile. Okay, so now you're using your light pencil, which means if you don't like the line, then you can easily erase it. So make a nice light line until you get the line that you're looking for, upside down. Just join those two. There we go. So nice light line. We'll be darkening these lines after. And then like a smile underneath. So bring your smile underneath. Make it nice and light first, so you know you're happy with it. And then if you're happy with your line, then we'll darken it when we get our dark pencils. So now we get our line there and there. So now we're going to draw the iris. So you can look at some reference photos. You can even look at your own eye and see how much of the white that the iris takes up, okay? And it's pretty round, so you can, like I said, make very light lines. I'm making very light lines. As you can see, they're very light. So now I'm just doing a video, so if it's not perfectly round, then I'm just going to continue on. So now then you can draw the pupil. And the pupil is somewhere in the center. It can, you know, like I said, depends on people's eyes. You have to have a look at them. And look at the eye. And there we go. And now I'm going to make a Pac-Man. Isn't that cool? Little Pac-Man. All right, that is where your highlight is, right here. So just make a little line over at the edge of that so you won't go in there. And then we're going to do another line over this one, the same shape. And that's going to be a crease, because everybody has a crease. So you can look at your own eyes to see all this. Okay, so you make a crease. Keep your lines light in case you got to erase. And so that'll just be the beginning of your eye. And just straighten up the way you want it. Okay. And then over here is a little circle. We'll just make that a circle for now. Make it easier for you. And that's the tear duct, okay? So the tear duct. There's a little line here and a little line here. We can put all that in after, but that's okay. Do that. And so what we can do now is, I'm going to make a quick little eyebrow here just so that you can picture the eye. Makes it a little easier. But this eyebrow is not going to be worked on because I want to do the eye for you today. We'll do an eyebrow later. So this is a female eye. I'm going to do a male eye next. So the female eye is got more long eyelashes and of course is more feminine. So now what we're going to do is we're going to switch our pencils, because that's a really light pencil, and we're going to switch to the 4B. The 4B is the darkest pencil I have here, and I'm going to fill in this pupil. Okay, and I'm filling this in nice and dark. Nice and dark. See the Pac-Man coming out? Pac-Man on a female eye. Pretty cool. So then we will have that there like that. And now you're going to darken this line. So you darken that line nice and dark. Push a little hard. Good. And now you're going to darken the eyelid. Darken the eyelid. Good. And then you darken this little corner here. And you're going to darken this line here. This is the crease. So darken that line. Good. And then you're going to take this here and bring in these little lines. Okay, little lines, just so we can use that for to darken and shade. So bring these lines headed in towards the pupil. Okay, so coming out here, headed towards the pupil, and over, bring them up towards the pupil, and some more down here, so we shape up the edge here. Good. Good, and then bring some out from the pupil here. Bring some more out from the pupil. Good. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take this line again, this one here, and you're going to go back over this line. And what you're going to do is you're going to thicken it up. But this time don't press too hard. This is the shadow. This is the shadow over the eye, over the iris and pupil. Okay, so don't push too hard. Just keep it nice and soft. It is dark, but it's the shadow. We all have shadows there. And then darken this, take this one here, and you're also going to thicken it up. Okay, you're thickening it, you're going over it, and as you're going over it, you're bringing out some shadow here and here, okay? So you're thickening up that line, but you're lightening up on your head, taking off the pressure a bit so that your shadow, your shading, I mean, won't be so thick and dark. Okay, so that's that much. And then you're going to darken up, but thicken that line up a little bit here. Just thicken it up a little bit. Thicken it up like we did. Thicken it up. Don't press too hard. Just come back over here and shadow it up. Okay, good. Now, what we're going to do now is we are going to use our blending stump. Here's a blending stump, and we're going to take the blending stump and we're going to go back over that line here. Good. And we're going to loosen up our hand and come down here to soften that up. Good. And then we're going to move this. As we move it up, the graphite on that the blending stump picked up will lighten up because it's not as much graphite on it, so it'll lighten up. So we'll go all the way up here. We'll go up around this curve here, and we'll just shade it in on top here. And the graphite, like I said, won't be so. Down here in this line here, you push a bit hard, and then you move up off the line and into the top of the eye. That gives us some shape. And down around here. Good. Now inside here, you're going to also shade the shadow. Go over the line that you just did. Soften it up. Get the shadow. And come down here. And down here. And around this line here. And around this line here. And now as you move in, just keep your hand very light. Very light. Don't push too hard this time. Okay, and then you push a little harder here on the pupil. And there we go. And then you just shade it up with your blending stump. And then you can shade this line here. Bring a little shadow into the corners of the eye because the eye is not completely white. We need some shadow there. And then you can take this line and shadow, go with the blending stump, and then take another line, take your blending stump and move the shading down underneath here. We need an eyelash line, okay? So we'll be fixing all that up again after. So what you're going to do now is you're going to take some tissue. It's a tissue, like out of a box tissue. Just wrap it around your finger and just soften up what you just did. There we go. Just soften it up. Soften it up really nice. There we go. Soften up. You can even come down around here and here. And soften it around your eye and in around the corners of your eye. That makes it nice and soft. Tissue is great for softening up your drawings. I'm going to show you how to do a full face when I do some more videos. We'll get to that later. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our H pencil again so we can make this little line right here for the bottom eyelashes, okay? So the bottom eyelashes will go down here. We'll just join up with this, and then we'll come back in here, and we'll make that light line because you may not like it. You want to take it out, so just make a light line right there. Good. Just barely see it. Let's just fill in a little bit of this right here so we can get that line, so it looks like the eye is going underneath that lid. Good. And now what we'll do is we will put on some eyelashes. Okay, some eyelashes. So let's use the 2B pencil for now because in case we got to erase, in case you don't like them. So take out a long line and come a little over this crease. And a short line, and a long line, and a short line, and a long line, and a short line. And bend them, all right, touch and pull. And Some are going up and some are probably even going now to the right. Some are going to the left. Oops. Alright, so that made that one a little bit too long right there. So that's why we have our handy dandy kneaded eraser. Our kneaded eraser. So I'm going to take a little bit of that out. I'm just going to tap at it. There we go. And good. And then now I'm going to put some eyelashes between what I just did. So I'm going to put these little short ones between what I just did. I did a long one and a short one. Now I'm doing all these little short ones in between what I just did. That's all. That's all there is to it. So you can have some more long. You can have. So like I said, look at some reference photos so you can see how many long ones you need. Alright, because everybody's eyes are different. And then you can put some little ones down here on the lid. Right here. So you touch and pull out. Touch and pull out. There might be a couple of longer ones and a couple of shorter ones. And you can take a longer one and you can meet up with it with another one. They can join. So touch and pull, touch and pull, touch and pull, touch and pull, touch and pull. Long and short. Oh, I'm gone down too far. Okay, well here comes the kneaded eraser again. See, so you make a mistake. No problem. See, your kneaded eraser is great because it doesn't leave a mess. So on the line, there's the line here. There it is, there it is. Okay, so we'll just put our lashes on that line. Good. And we'll just put on some smaller ones as we get up here. And they'll just come out this way. And if you want a couple of longer ones, just bring out some longer ones. Because they're not all long. There's probably a few long ones. Like I said, you have to look at your own eyes. And if you're doing a female eye, more than likely there's mascara on the eye. So it will make the eyelashes look longer. Okay, so now what we're going to do is take a smaller, I have a medium and a small blending stump, okay? So I'm going to use a smaller one to take that line there and darken it up on top of those lashes that I just did. Okay, that'll just darken that up there. Darken it up and then darken up these lashes, the small lashes, head for those, and darken those up. Good. And now what we'll do is we will darken up this line here again. So it's going back and forth until you get what you're looking for. Same as in painting. Go back and forth until you get all your lines correct. Get everything in place that you want. Alright, and your lines will probably be straighter than mine because I'm sitting, like I said, when you're doing videos, it's a little bit awkward. So there's a little line here in the corner, another little line over here. Alright, that's the eyeball. And I'm just trying to see now if there's anything else I can show you. We can make the eyelashes a little darker with your 4B pencil. Alright. And you can come out on the side. Depends on the eye. And then you can darken this up again a little bit more. Bring out a few little lines. Bring out a few more lines here. A few more lines here. Just some lines just to make it look shadowy. A few lines here. And I think that I might be done. You know, there's lots more you can do. You can certainly spend lots of time at this. But just for getting you started, I just wanted to get a little bit of eye in there for you. And that's, you know, an easy way to do an eye. Pretty simple. And just take your blending stump and blend this again. And then you're going to take your kneaded eraser. So you take your kneaded eraser to give the highlights a little more highlight. So roll it around in your finger and then just tap at it, tap and pull at it a little bit and just get a little bit of a highlight. And I think that should do it. So we'll just blend this out down here. Bring a little bit of blending down here and around here. Okay. So I'm just going to try a little bit of a different technique with this one. Then now see how the line is a little crooked, but that'll give you a chance now to straighten it up because the pencil is really light. And so in here, let's draw our iris first. This is I want to do this a little different than the other one. Instead of drawing the line first here, because it's hard, sometimes it's a little harder to match up. But if you get the pupil and the iris in first, that might help a little bit. So then you get a nice round circle, and you could use a template. I think you can use a, you know, something to help you get a round circle. And then you're just going to do the pupil in here, little Pac-Man, just to help you get that highlight there. Just a little line over, that's good. And then you're going to draw the crease in the eye, and of course a man's eyebrows are bushier than a woman's eyebrows. He doesn't pluck his eyebrows. So we'll just put some lines in first, just thicken them up here first. Just some lines, don't worry about it too much yet. And then bring them over the eye, almost straight across. And then you sort of go straight across. And you have a little bit down in the corner there. And then we'll just thicken up this front part here, and we'll worry about the eyebrow after. We won't worry about it now. Just put some lines in there just to get that eyebrow. Good. And sometimes you have little bits of hair sticking up in the corner here. Good. Now that's with your H pencil. So now if you need to do any erasing or any changing, it's a good time to do it now. So on the edge of this eye, this is going to be the inner eye. This is going to be tear duct. Just make a little round circle coming off that line there, a round circle, and a little bit of a line coming down here, a little bit of a line coming down from here. So that's all you need for now. So now let's get our darker pencil. Let's go with the 4B pencil so that we can really darken up that pupil, okay? So let's darken up the pupil. Good. Make sure you can see it. Darken up the pupil. Because I never know until the end of the video, and when I look at it, how it went. And I could be like 20 minutes and working really hard at my video, and I check it out in the viewfinder and everything, and then when I look at it, it could be terrible. Not the drawing, but the video could have came out blurry, or so it's really hard. Not real hard, but it's tedious sometimes. So now we'll just do the line over. So with the darker pencil, we want to darken all the lines now. All the lines, okay? So darken the crease, darken this line going over the eye. And we want to thicken it up so that we have a shadow. So we always have a shadow under our eyes. You can look in the mirror or look in somebody else's eyes and see the shadows and things that you never noticed before probably. So just thicken that up a little bit there, and we'll use that for a shadow. And then just take some little quick lines out from the pupil, like that. That's so we can shade, okay? And then we're going to bring some lines in towards the pupil. Okay, so bring those lines in. Make them fairly close together. We want that to be pretty dark. And up, 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 up. Good. Now, just take... Good. And then we'll darken up that line here on the top here. And we'll put a few more extra lines in the eyebrow to thicken that up a little bit. There we go. Just pull out some lines, little quick lines. Quick, 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 quick. All right. So we'll straighten all that up after. Don't worry too much. I'm leaning over, so I'm getting kind of some strange little lines there. So, yeah, so keep this nice and thick. And now you're going to take your blending stump. I'm going to take the small one because the eye is pretty small. And I'm going to darken up those lines. I'm going right over the lines, right over the lines. And I'm letting the graphite which is the pencil that we used, the graphite. And we're going to let the graphite then shade out the eye. So you press hard on that line, press hard, and then pull it up and probably just bring it down over here just to make it look like it might be a nose developing there. Okay, so now you're going to shade this line here, and you're going to shade this line here. So when you shade the line, you are going to make a little bit of bottom here. So then you're going to have the shading nice shaded all around. Okay, so now you're going to shade the pupil, and you're going to shade the upper line. Kind of starting to come out pretty nice. And then just take your blending stump and go back under here, under the eye. And now you get kind of a nicer feel to the eye. Good. Now what we'll do is we will take our 4B pencil again, and we'll bring in some more lines in here. Now males have, like I say, bushier eyebrows and little eyelash brow. Depends on, you know, the person, how big their eyebrows are. And then you're going to darken up a little bit in here, just a little bit of shading here and there. A male's eyelashes sort of come down this way. Whoops. They come down this way a little bit. So just bring some eyelashes down that way. And there's not much in here, just a little bit, just to show. And males also have eyelashes down here. So let's make a line for our bottom eyelashes. Okay, now we'll get this in here, and we'll just throw in a few little eyelashes down on the bottom. Good. So just follow that line, throw in a few little lines. Maybe some are longer than others. Have a look at a reference photo and see what you can see. Okay, so this at least help you figure out the shading. All right, I put a little line in here just to make it look like an eye, and there we go. That's good. So there's really not much left to do. I'm just going to show you now. Darken up those edges there. And so you darken that up, bring out some lines again, shade it up with your pencil. We're going to highlight it, and I'm going to show you how to use the kneaded eraser again. So we'll just take this up a little bit off this line here and bring that down in here. That's better. That's better. So you always want to adjust. You look at your picture and you try to adjust things just to make it look better, okay? And then you just shade it out again, just shade it out until you're happy with the shading. There we go. Good. And what we'll do now is we will bring some shading out around here and down around here. And then we'll shade underneath the eye again. Good. So we'll get as much shading as we can around the eye, just so you can see how it's going, and even up here if you want, because that will be the forehead. Just shade it out. That's okay. Just put it in as much circles or push. Just let all that graphite come off your blending stump, okay? So that should be almost done now. So all I'm going to do is, let's see, if I left anything out, you can let me know in an email if there's something that you want to see, you know. So just email me. I'm going to try a baby's eye after. I think that'd be fun. I think that would be fun. So let's just leave that at that, and you can practice it. And then take your tissue, and just wipe around it with your tissue paper just to soften it up. See? That'll soften it up for you. Some people don't want to soften them. You don't have to. You know, it's just going to show you things that I like to do, and then you can decide if you want to do that yourself. But this softens up all the nice graphite that you put on there. I think I'm okay with that. Oh, and let's do, with the kneaded eraser, let's take your kneaded eraser and make a little top. And then just pull out a few extra highlights in the eyeball, or in the, I'm sorry, in the iris. And that'll give it a bit more highlight, and clean up the eye right here a little bit if you like. You can give it a little bit of a highlight up here and here. Highlights are really nice. They bring it out really nice. So H is the lightest one for now, what I got here. There's many more that you can use. So what I'm going to do is, I'm thinking it might be easier if we just draw a circle. Now if you had a template with a circle, that would make your circle more round. So just get your circle in. Use your light pencil. So get your circle in first. I think that might be the easiest way to do this, because a baby's eye is much different than an adult's eye. And then just their pupil is a little small, so you just put a little pupil in here. Leave the center open, thereby making your little Pac-Man. Now you don't have to do it that way all the time. You can make a little square or a little circle on the end of the pupil for your highlight, okay? And then another thing is to come down over the top of the eye and then come down like this. And then you come down on the other side like this. That makes it a little easier, I find. And then you're going to take, this will be the eyelash. So I'm going to put a few eyelashes here just to show you where everything is going. So just put a few little eyelashes right there. And then we'll take this line under the eyelashes and bring it over here. And then we'll bring another line up here. I find that a little bit easier. And we'll just bring another little line down here for the bottom eyelashes. Good. And now we'll have the crease. The baby's crease is in through here and over, and comes right into the eye to round it out, because the baby doesn't have the same tear ducts the way we do out here like this. Theirs is inside here. So, and the baby's eye then comes around here, sort of like round. Good. And then, so that's that. And the baby's eyelashes are pretty faint in some babies, and other babies they're pretty, and they start probably up around the middle of the eye here. So you can just put a few little faint lines there, just a few little faint lines. You don't need much, just to show you, just a little bit of faint lines. Good. And now what you're going to do is, you are going to, because now you got all your light, that's your H pencil, so you got all your, now you're going to go to your next darkest pencil, which I have here is a 2B. So we'll use our 2B pencil to darken up this line here and this line here. So we're going to darken up all the lines. And we're going to darken up this line. Yep, darken up that line. And this line. And then you're going to darken up the top lid. Good. So darken up the top lid. Alright, there we go. And top lid here, and this is the crease up here, this is the lid, top lid. Okay, and then we're going to just darken that a little bit in here. You can make adjustments as you go along. So we're just going to darken that up a little tiny bit. I'm not going to do much with the eyebrow, because their eyebrows are really, really light. Like I said, in some cases now, not all cases, but so I'm just bringing this out here just so you can see. So now you're going to bring this line over and bring in some lines like we did before. These lines help give you nice shading. Yep, nice shading. If you skip over a little bit down here, it might give you a nice little white spot there for, you know, as if it was a bit wet. And we go in here and down the top, and then come out from the pupil, and we get all these nice little lines. Good. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to take our darkest pencil, our 6B pencil, and you're going to darken up. Now you can use 8B, you can use charcoal, you can use whatever you want, as long as it's darker than the H. And there we go. So we'll darken that up again, darken that up again, bring out some lines again. Just go over those a little bit. There we go. So we want to darken everything up. Good. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to start shading. So take your pencil and thicken up this line, but don't push as hard. Don't, like, as you come up, just push a little. Just don't push it all, actually. Just bring your pencil over your paper. That's only just printing paper I'm using. I find cardstock paper is nice to work on. Bristol board paper. Yeah. And we're going to bring this line down here under the eye, because babies always have these little creases under the eyes, if you notice. And shade this in, and then we're going to take this line here. So every time when you're drawing, you have lines, and the lines then you have to darken, or you can darken, and when you darken them you can do your shading on those lines, from those lines. Okay, so just remember that your lines, you do your line work first, and then you can do all your shading after that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our blending stump. So we're going to blending stump as a small one. You can get them smaller. And we're just going to take it and shade it out. And this is where the side of the head is. In here, this is where the nose would be. So you can come around and around. There we go. Good. So take all graphite from those heavy lines and bring them up into close to the eyebrow. And because if you were doing a full face, you'd be shading it in so that you get some nice shadows and shape of the face and everything. So underneath here, we're going to shade. I'm leaving that little bit light there in between here. I'm going to shade the eye. Good. Shade the eye. Leave out the, don't forget to leave your highlight. Leave some little highlights. We'll darken that again in a minute. I'm going to bring in this shadow, this little crease here, and we'll just shade. Now you can see that the graphite, when the graphite starts coming off of your blending stump, it'll lighten up for you. So you let your graphite, you let your blending stump do all the work for you. So there we go. Perfect. Now what we'll do is, so go as far as you want with your shade, okay? Because that could be the forehead up here. Alright. Now put some eyelashes on there, and there's really not much left to do. So you just bring in some shading here in this corner, and some shading in this corner, because the eye is not always dark. I should say not always pure white. So then you can do that, and then we'll do some eyelashes. Take your darkest pencil that you have, and the eyelashes come out in this corner here, and the baby's eyelashes are pretty long. So you can put a few eyelashes in there. They get smaller and smaller as you get on the end. And you can put some eyelashes in between. Okay? So put some eyelashes in between so we can darken up that area. And then bring out some eyelashes down here. So just a few little eyelashes. Just tiny, tiny eyelashes. Tiny, tiny. There we go. And you put a couple in between, and a couple of longer ones, and some shorter ones. Darken up that line a little bit there if you like. And here. Just gives it more depth. And there we go. And we'll darken up that line again. Darken up that line again. Make sure, as you can see, the eyeball is the iris. This big part here, and the pupil, they take up almost the whole eye. That's what gives the babies those really cute little looks. So it's hard to see in a baby's eye when you don't have the full picture. But that's just an idea of how a baby's eye can be drawn. You can look at lots of reference photos to help you out. And that will give you more of an idea what it really looks like when you look at a full baby's face, right? So just bring that line down here, just so that it looks like it's going to cross. And like I say, it's hard to picture that as a baby's eye, I think, but that's the way baby's eyes are. So just take your kneaded eraser and roll it between your fingers and make a point, and then just take out some highlights. Highlight, highlight, highlight. There we go. Just a little touch. And then you can also take out some highlight in here and here, underneath here. And then we'll just take our pencil and clean up any edges that you think need to be cleaned up, you know. So it's supposed to look like a little wet spot there, but I don't think you can see it that good. If you leave a little bit of white there, it'll give you kind of like a... So you can darken up the eyes a little bit more if you like. And then... Yep, and then you just put in a few more lines, just so, because you lost them when you were shading and things. And then if you, like I say, go back and forth with the kneaded eraser and take out a few highlights if you want to. And clean up edges and whatever you want to do with it. And just put in some, and then if you like, you can take some tissue paper. And some tissue paper and clean and soften it up here. Oopsie daisies. There's also another way you can do it. I have a brush. You can take a brush, a nice sable brush, soft brush, and you can also use your brush to soften up your graphite. See? That does the same trick. So either tissue paper or, you know, try all the different things that you can use to soften up. And some people don't want to soften up, they just like it as it is. They rather have a rougher look, a more sketchy look. This is a nice way too. So I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope it helped you a little bit. At least you get some idea what the shape of a baby's eye would look like. And hopefully I'll get to do a full face now soon. I'll do as many drawings as I can for you. So if you got any requests, let me know what you'd like for me to draw. And you have a great day. And I'll see you in the next video. Happy drawing from Allison Prior.